Customers called her a monster because of her hands. She hid them under long sleeves, sweating in the summer heat. But one man in the corner knew that those ugly marks weren't defects, they were battle scars. Before we see justice served, I want to take a moment to appreciate you watching. If you believe that heroes often walk among us unnoticed, please gently tap the like button and subscribe. It helps us share more stories that matter. The air conditioner at Mel's diner was broken again. Sarah Miller moved through the heat with her head down, wearing a thick, long-sleeved uniform that clung to her skin. She kept her left hand hidden behind her back, terrified of the whispers. For 3 years, she had been the scarred waitress, an object of pity or disgust. But Michael Kelly, sitting alone in booth 4, wasn't disgusted. He was studying her. He had been searching for 18 years, clutching a faded photo of his old platoon. He watched Sarah's tactical awareness, the way she scanned the room. "It has to be her," he whispered, his coffee running cold. The bell chimed, and peace left the building. Chad Morrison, a local construction boss with an ego twice his size, strutted in with his crew. He spotted Sarah and smirked. "Hey, Mummy!" Chad shouted. "Why are you dressed for winter? What's under the sleeves? Track marks? Something ugly?" Sarah tried to ignore him, placing water glasses on the table. "Just doing my job, sir." "Do it better," Chad snapped. He knocked a glass onto the floor on purpose. "Oops. Pick it up. And take off that jacket, you look ridiculous." Sarah crouched to clean the mess. As she stood, Chad, wanting a laugh for his crew, shoved her shoulder hard. Sarah stumbled, grabbing the table for support. Her sleeve snagged and ripped upward, exposing her arm. The diner gasped. The skin was a roadmap of melted tissue and jagged burns. But right in the center, stark against the damage, was a tattoo. Michael stood up instantly. He recognized the ink. And he knew that Chad Morrison had just insulted the deadliest person in the room. Have you ever seen a bully get put in their place? Tell us about it in the comments. The silence was deafening. Sarah stood frozen, her arm exposed. The tattoo was undeniable, 3rd Infantry Division. Ramadi. 2006. Chad Morrison didn't look ashamed, he looked delighted. He pointed a thick finger at her scarred arm and laughed. "Oh, this is rich. Look at this, boys. She's playing soldier." He stood up, towering over Sarah. "I know what this is. Stolen valor. You bought a fake tattoo to get better tips, didn't you? You probably got those burns cooking meth in a trailer park, and now you're pretending to be a hero. That is pathetic." Sarah's lip trembled. She tried to pull her sleeve down, shame flooding her face. "Please," she whispered. "Just leave me alone." "No," Chad sneered. "Real men died for that flag. You're a fraud." 3rd Infantry, a voice boomed from the corner. Michael Kelly marched across the diner floor. He didn't look like a tired old man anymore. He looked like a soldier. He pushed past Chad and stopped in front of Sarah, ignoring the bully entirely. His eyes locked onto her tattoo, then her face. "Ramadi," Michael said softly. "The convoy. July 15th. Sarah stopped breathing. She looked up, her eyes widening in shock. How do you know that date?" Michael pulled the old photograph from his pocket and held it up with a shaking hand. "Because I was in the Humvee. I was the one trapped in the fire." Chad groaned loud enough for the whole room to hear. "Oh, give me a break. You two are in on the con together. How much is she paying you, old man?" Michael spun around, his eyes blazing with a rage that made Chad take a step back. "You want to know how she got those scars?" Michael growled. "Sit down and shut up, because I'm going to tell you exactly what a real hero looks like." "You want to know how she got those scars?" Michael growled. Sit down and shut up, because I'm going to tell you exactly what a real hero looks like. Hit that like button right now if you support our veterans. Let's show Sarah she's not alone. Michael's voice commanded the room. Even the cook leaned out of the kitchen window to listen. 2006, Michael began, staring daggers at Chad. Our convoy was hit by an IED. My vehicle flipped. The fuel tank ruptured. I was trapped inside, upside down, burning alive. I was screaming for my mother. He pointed to Sarah, who was wiping tears from her face. Protocol says medics stay back because insurgents target rescuers. But Sergeant Sarah Miller didn't wait. She ran into the fire. She used her bare hands to smash the window, that's how she got those scars on her palms. She dragged me out while the skin was melting off her arms. The diner was dead silent. Chad's crew members looked at their feet, ashamed. But she didn't stop, Michael continued, his voice breaking. There was another kid trapped. She went back in. That's when the second bomb went off. He stepped closer to Sarah. She didn't dive for cover. She threw her body over mine. She became a human shield. She took the shrapnel and the fire so I could go home to my daughters. I spent 18 years looking for her to say thank you. And you. Michael turned back to Chad, his voice dropping to a dangerous whisper. You threw $2 on the floor and called her a meth head. Sarah spoke for the first time, her voice steady. I thought I failed you, Michael. I thought you died in Germany. You saved me, Michael said, gripping her scarred hand. You saved 17 of us that tour. Chad, desperate to save face, scoffed. Cool story. But I don't buy it. I'm calling my buddies at the base to run her name. He pulled out his phone. Chad dialed, thinking he was in control. He didn't realize that a college student behind him had been live streaming the whole thing, and 50,000 people were watching Chad dig his own grave. This is the moment we've been waiting for. Subscribe so you never miss a karma story like this. Say hi to the internet, Chad, the student shouted, holding up his phone. 80,000 people are watching you bully a decorated war hero. Chad froze. His phone rang in his hand. It wasn't his buddies, it was his boss. Answer it, someone yelled from the back. Chad put the phone to his ear, turning pale. Hey, boss, I'm just grabbing lunch. You're fired. The scream on the other end was so loud, Michael could hear it standing 3 feet away. I'm watching the live stream, Morrison. You're wearing the company logo while harassing a veteran. Get off my job site. Don't come back. We'll mail you your things. The line went dead. Chad stood there, his mouth opening and closing like a fish. You ruined my life, Chad stammered, looking at Sarah. You did that yourself, the diner manager, Bob, said, stepping out from the kitchen. Bob pointed to the door. Get out of my restaurant. You are banned for life. If I see you here again, you're leaving in handcuffs. Chad looked to his crew for support, but they were already walking away, leaving him behind. We're taking the truck, Chad, one of them muttered. You can walk. The diner erupted in applause. It started slow, then became a roar. People stood up, cheering for Sarah, clapping for Michael. Chad Morrison, stripped of his job, his ride, and his ego, hung his head and slunk out the door into the heat. Sarah looked at Michael, tears streaming down her face, but this time they weren't from shame. Thank you, she whispered. Welcome home, Sergeant, Michael smiled. It seemed like the perfect ending. But 6 months later, the diner door opened, and a man walked in who would test Sarah's heart one last time. 6 months later, Mel's diner was transformed. A framed photo of Sergeant Sarah Miller hung behind the counter under a sign that read, Our Hero. Sarah was the manager now, wearing short sleeves, her scars visible and proud. It was a busy Tuesday when the bell chimed. Sarah looked up and froze. It was Chad. He looked nothing like the bully from before. He was thinner, wearing paint-stained clothes and old work boots. He didn't swagger, he kept his head down. The regulars went quiet, watching him suspiciously. Chad walked to the counter and placed a thick envelope on it. He didn't make eye contact. "I know I shouldn't be here," Chad said quietly. "I lost everything after that video. My house, my wife, my career. I deserved it." He pushed the envelope forward. "I've been volunteering at the Veterans Rehab Center. Painting the new wing. The guys there, they took up a collection for me to fix my truck. But I can't keep it. I want you to have it. For your unit." Sarah opened the envelope. It was full of crumpled bills, money from men who had very little to give. She looked at Chad's hands. They were rough, calloused, and shaking. "They vouched for you?" Sarah asked. "They said everyone deserves a second chance if they earn it," Chad replied. Sarah stared at him for a long moment. The diner held its breath. Finally, she slid the envelope back to him. "Fix your truck, Chad," she said softly. "I can't take." "Take it," Sarah commanded. "But sit down. The coffee is on the house." Chad looked up, eyes filled with tears, and nodded. Sarah showed us that true strength isn't just about fighting, it's about grace. What do you think? Did Chad deserve forgiveness? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching.